Hi everyone, it's the part of my beginners series. I've got a little miniature here to have a little go at. These are Sea White's postcards. I'll pop a link in my description if you fancy those. They're quite nice because they've got an actual postcard on the back. And then I've just taped around the edge just to give it a little bit of a border. So I'm using a pan palette today. This is a Cotman one, and I'll just walk you through the colours as I go. 2 brushes, nice and simple. A round number 6 and a round number 10. So I'm going to start with my round number 10 and pop on some water. I'm going to create a nice sunset sky, and I'm doing the hilly, so it's slightly at a slant. So loading my brush with water, I'm dipping into a cadmium yellow. So that's coming on first towards the bottom of the sky. So it could be a nice sort of graded sky. Got a little bit of alizarin crimson. I'm just basically what I've got in this palette. And a little bit of ultramarine blue. So I don't want any cloud, I want it to be a nice sort of graded wash. So I'm just going to blend that colour through a little bit. If I give my brush a rinse and then take excess water off, squeeze it off, I can blend through. There's a bit of yellow that's settled there a little bit, so I'm just going to blend that through. I want a nice sort of graded feel to the wash. So as that's settling, I'm going to do this as snow. So I'm going to bring on a little bit of a glow in here. So I'm going to leave about 1/2 centimetre gap at the end, just along this line, so that they don't blend together. And I'm going to be very light with what I touch on the pan. So I want a little bit of each of these colours within the snow, but only a little bit. So you load your brush up with water, dab in a tiny bit, and then you move it around. If you come on and think, oh, that's too strong, then just take a damp brush, not wet, just damp, squeeze it off, and just move that little bit of paint around. Or you can lift a tiny bit off. Very careful with how much ultramarine you take on. I've got a little bit of shadow there. Okay, so what's happening here is that is drying quicker than the rest of this. So again, I'm taking my brush, it's clean, I've squeezed the water off, and I'm just going to manipulate over that bit. Just so that I don't end up with a watermark there. I'm swapping down now to a round number 6, and I'm dipping into some burnt umber. And I'm going to create some distant trees. Along this snowy edge. You want a variety of heights. Put a nice big tree in here because this has taken some of the water off and pulled it back into the picture just off the edge of the tape. So this is correcting that by popping in a bigger tree here. So remember, variety of heights. If you dip into a green, so I've got some Viridian here, and mix it with the burnt umber on the paper, you'll start to get a muted sort of Christmas tree green, which is quite nice. If it looks a bit bright, dip back into your burnt umber. Just play with that around a little bit. Just at this stage, you just got to be careful you don't take too much water on, because that sky is nearly dry and that would then bloom that through. It's like you've got a little bit of underpaint in there. I'll take a little bit more of that Viridian. The Viridian is always really bright, but when it works with a brown, it can make really nice natural greens. So I'm ending up here with a bit of a multi-layer, which is fine. So I'm going to dry that one off. Okay, so that's nicely dry. I'm just going to pop a little bit of interest in the foreground now, and a little bit of hard shadow. So what's happened here is the water has seeped off the tape, because it can sit on the tape, back into the painting. So what I'm going to show you is how I would fix that. So I'm going to take some of the burnt umber, and this is now going on to dry. I'm going to pop another tree in. These things happen, and it's just about how you're going to fix it. So I'm going to just dab in an extra tree, and then it's gone. It's about evolving. So I'm still with my round number 6. I'm going to pop some twiggy bits in. So at this point, if you struggle to do these with a round number 6, then that's fine. Swap down to something thinner. This is just really to give you a little bit of foreground interest. So we're going to have some twiggy brambly bits, and this is just straight dipping into the burnt umber to create these. Just with a damp brush, so I've rinsed it out, taken some of the water off. I'm just gonna blend through a little bit in places. So I don't want that to be so hard, you just give it more density. Just blend through and dab through a little bit. Okay, so if I want a little bit of soft shadow now, the trick is for it not to be too strong. I'm going to take a little bit of ultramarine, so these are the colours that we've used in the sky, a little bit of alizarin crimson, and I'm making a purple. So I'm going to show you that. So I've got 2 dabs here, and I've made a purple. Then I'm going to wet it down. I'm going to water it right down. I want this to be diluted so it's not strong. So you can see there we've got lots now. I've just dabbed the brush in a few times. And what I'm going to do is come on and mirror the shapes of the trees. So this is a nice, easy way to create shadow. Can pop a few little bits in, a few sort of random dabs. Then I'm getting a piece of kitchen towel. not often that I will tell you can dab a picture, but for snow, when it's still damp, if you dab, it gives a mottled effect which works wonderfully as snow, undulating snow. Okay, I'll dry that one off. There we go, so that's all finished. A nice, simple, easy snow scene for you to have a go at if you're a total beginner. If you've enjoyed this, I'll pop you another video just here. Please do like, subscribe and share, and I'll see you next time.